You are listening to Peak One Sports.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode of the Leadoff on the Peak One Sports Network. I'm Ashton.
And I'm Tony. Flipping the script today. Passed on the coffee. Went for Celsius. What's going on?
You have to be careful with that Celsius, though. I'm gonna say it's healthy. They went through some disclaimer. Allegedly, I don't want to get in trouble with any of our sponsors, but it's way better for you than Monsters or Red Bulls or whatever, but it's got a lot of calories and it has a lot of caffeine. It's for active people, so you can't just down those every morning and then not go out and run or work out or something. It's definitely not going to be good for you. You probably shouldn't be drinking anyways, but again, what am I doing? I'm just hurting our sponsors here. Celsius. Go grab you a Celsius. Also here, he's not on camera. We're working on that. He's in an intern capacity right now, but he will have a camera soon. Landon, our intern producer. What's going on, Landon?
What's going on?
He's got to talk more. Once he starts talking more, we'll give him a camera. We'll give him a square, just like Joey. He's got to earn the bigger square. Be sure to like and subscribe to our page on YouTube. Share all that terminology. I know you hear it all the time. But go ahead and hit that notification button so you don't miss this wonderful first part of our show. You'll be notified as soon as we go live, and you'll be watching us as soon as we do. Also, go to our website, podcast page, phone, whatever, desktop, and you can listen to all of our great shows on the Peak One Sports Network, however you podcast. Today is going to be a different kind of show. We're just kind of talking about everything going on right now to get you ready for your sports weekend.
It's a slow sports time of year besides
The
baseball.
dog days of summer, as they call them.
Yeah. We have that in sports too, and when you're trying to sports broadcast, it gets tough.
In the illustrious words of the Bungalow Sports Show, we know ball, so we can talk about whatever you want to talk about. We know ball.
Yeah.
Kind of talking about right now, this isn't a huge surprise, but it's finally, the Angels are acknowledging what we've all been seeing coming, and they are now shopping Shohei Ohtani.
I think he's going to be a Dodger before it's all said and done.
I think it's good for the game of baseball.
To just take stars out of the
Angels' hands,
out of the second LA team.
Because I want to see Shohei in a playoff setting, where in my lifetime, I've never seen Mike Trout in a playoff setting.
It's pretty ridiculous that the Angels have had two generational players and haven't been able to do anything with them.
Has Trout's been in the playoffs one time his entire career?
I don't know. I don't know if he's ever been in the playoffs.
I think he has like...
Was he been in 10 years? He might have gone to one.
I think he has one playoff appearance, and I think they got swept, which is... I mean, it puts him in a bad spot, because can you say he's the greatest baseball player of all time when how does he perform in the playoffs?
He was on his way to that, but he's dealt with injuries, and he's injured right now.
Regular season
and then
player of all time.
Because as much as I hate Derek Jeter, when you think of Derek Jeter, you don't really think of regular season stuff. You think of how good he was in the playoffs.
And he doesn't even have ridiculous stats either. But he was as close to unanimous as you can get when he was elected to the Baseball Hall of Fame. It's just it's the playoffs. You think about those plays when he runs across and he's near home plate, he grabs the ball and tosses it in. That was in the playoffs, right?
Yeah. Which is a horrible play. He should have already been there or not been there at all.
Yeah.
But
yeah, he made the mistake where you're like, hey, I need to back that guy up, and he just made it look more dramatic than it is. But hey, he made the play, but yeah, it's playoffs. Yeah. That's the plays you can remember. And tune in to the sports page later on this week. we're going to be talking, me and Landon will be on the show talking about this, but Major League Baseball has done a bad job of marketing.
I think
the fact that LA, I mean, we see it in other sports. The Mets are back up to the Yankees.
Yeah.
The Jets are back up to the Giants. The Chargers are back up to the Rams. And for sure, the Angels are back up to the Dodgers. I don't think that's ever really going to change unless they just have like a dynasty type run.
They would have to have a decade-long run.
But with Shohei Ohtani and Mike Trout, like the Dodgers are good. The Dodgers have a lot of really good players. But two generational type like the era of baseball we're in right now, those should be the two players that should be Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig type relationship.
It's
Trout should be or should have been the face of this league for the last 10 years.
Well, you have two people who are the face of not even a year of a Shohei is a generational talent. When's the last we haven't seen a two-way since
No,
I mean,
not to
y'all
just-
haven't
not
had a
at this
two-way
level
in
since
y'all's
Babe Ruth.
lifetime.
Babe Ruth, yeah.
Babe
Yeah.
Ruth would have been
I mean,
the last
there-
one at this level.
There's quirky, gimmicky players that have had that, and it's probably more common in the minors.
I mean, Noah Syndergaard had like 10 home runs. You can call him a two-way if you wanted to. But that's just a pitcher who swung the bat as hard as he possibly could trying to hit home
you're
runs.
talking about Shohei Ohtani, one of the best hitters in the game today, and a top pitcher.
If you put him at the pitcher, he's a Cy Young contender.
Yeah.
You put him at a position, he's a Silver Slugger.
So you don't have this issue with other two-way players where you're talking about what's he worth. He's going to get underpaid one way or another because a team can't pay him what he's actually worth. A Cy Young contending pitcher and I was going to say a 40-a-year home run hitter, but he's almost at 40 right now.
Yeah.
He's going to hit 50-something,
One of the
if
best
not more. You're talking
hitters.
about $40 million a year for each of those positions. Are
Do you
gonna
pay him 80?
Are you going to pay him $80 to $100 million a year?
I think you have to look at, too, what you're paying other guys that are face of the franchise guys. If he goes to the Yankees, can you underpay him like you pay... Do you pay him less than you're paying Judge?
Well, I think what we're going to see, this is the last year of his deal. You know, a team's going to get a steal for him. They're going to make a run in the playoffs. They're going to evaluate not what he's done up to this point, but what do they do for him in the short term, the remaining of the season. That might dictate what they're willing to pay as they see the value fit for their team.
Yeah.
But if he enters free agency and doesn't just re-sign with the team that trades for him, I mean, it's going to be another record-breaking. I mean, just like we see with all of these guys, it's going to be another
with Judge,
absolute record-breaking because he knocks out multiple boxes. He checks multiple boxes on your team. You know, he gives you a right fielder. He gives you like you said, a Silver Slugger, a hitter, and a Cy Young contending pitcher. You're getting three players essentially in one because how many players are even available that are going to give you the defense and offense production?
He doesn't play defense. I don't know if we've seen him in a defensive position all year. I think last year was his last time that he played a position, and it's because Trout was hurt. If he goes, for me, I would love to see him at a Dodgers uniform because you have Freddie Freeman. Essentially, this is if they can keep Freddie Freeman. You have Freddie Freeman, Mookie Betts. You have all those guys. That's two all-stars in two positions on that side of the field. You don't take Mookie Betts out of the outfield. One of the best outfielders, one of the best position players in the game. Do you put Shohei as a DH on that team? Where do you put him in the lineup?
Yeah.
Do you put him the one hole and move everybody back? Do you put him 5 hole and keep your first 4 and then you just take your DH spot out? And that's your DH, he'll pitch.
Yeah.
Every Friday night, every whatever.
It's a good problem to have for a team.
Yeah, it's a great problem to have whenever you
I
don't
think-
know where
I think you
your
let him
generational
pitch
talent.
every 5 or 6 days. You let him DH, and then when a guy needs a break or a guy needs a break in the outfield or somebody's hurt, then you can throw him.
Yeah,
out.
I mean,
I think that's why he's going to command the highest payment of any player in baseball.
he has the ability to play probably an elite outfield. I mean, he's not slow. We forget he throws 101 off the mound. What does that correlate to the outfield? I mean, if he really just lets one go, he'd probably touch 100.
Does that affect his pitching though? Is he?
I
do
don't.
the Angels tell him, or a team tells him not to?
Well,
ideally,
I mean,
he's not going to go to playing the outfield the day after he just pitched.
No, he won't.
No.
I think him playing in the outfield will be, Mookie Betts is hurt.
Yeah, like
Our backup right fielder's in center field right now because our center fielder's on injury reserve. Well, Shohei, you can play right field. Just go play a game. It'll be like
yeah,
that.
No, I think you're right. That's where he becomes three players. Is he's not an everyday fielder. He's gonna hit every day that
You can't not hit him.
He
Hitting
was an
has nothing
all-star
to do
as
with
a DH,
throwing.
right? That was his position as an all-star. He just
Yeah,
went
I
as
don't.
a DH.
I don't know if he did pitch that game. I think he just
No,
DH.
He was the
He did.
DH, but don't you go in for a position? Because he was a starter.
When
What
you
He was an
DH,
all-star starter. Was he the starting DH? That's what he went in for?
I believe so.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because he wasn't an outfielder, so
No.
he had to be a DH, and he
'Cause-
definitely wasn't the pitcher.
because he hasn't played defense this year. We haven't seen him at a defensive position this year, and I don't know that we saw him at a lot last year. I don't really keep up with the Angels. Besides, like,
Honestly,
I'll see a
I
Mike
wouldn't
Trout
put him-
highlight.
I wouldn't put him in the field.
No,
Protect
because
him. If you're going to pay him god awful amounts of money, which he's going to get,
which you're
just
paying
pitch,
him
just
to
pitch
hit.
and hit.
yeah, you're
That's
looking
all
at a
you
guy
have to do.
like Bryce Harper. The Phillies paying him an ungodly amount of money, and last year he tore his UCL as an outfielder.
Well, just think.
You never
Just
see
think,
that.
if Ohtani gets hurt pitching or gets hurt fielding, you lose two positions.
Yeah.
You lose one of your starting pitchers, and you use what? I wouldn't even put him in the
No,
field.
because,
Unless
I
you were
mean,
just desperate.
I think it's an emergency
playoffs.
situation.
Playoffs
or a
might be different.
Playoff and World Series
Yeah.
situation. Yeah.
You need an outfielder because, I mean, what happens if he goes? You have a guy that flares one out near the wall of the foul territory, and he goes and catches it, but he slams into the wall. Now he
Well,
has a concussion.
Think about this too, though. Any team that may be trading and looking for him, obviously they're looking for pitching help. At this time of year, every team's looking for pitching help.
You
The
can
bat-
never
the bat is
have
gonna be,
enough pitchers.
The bat is going to be secondary to any team looking to trade for him for this season
Yeah.
for a playoff run. These teams that are going to be fighting for him already have legitimate DHs. So where does he fit in the lineup? And is the DH they have, are they going to be able to go out and take a field position? Probably not, because they're the DH. So that's going to make it interesting on who would make that move and what position he facilitates for them.
Yeah, the playoffs are a whole different animal because what do you have, like a 3-pitcher rotation in the playoffs? Basically, maybe 4.
Yeah,
But
I
either
mean,
way, you're hitting. Pitchers are facing better lineups day to day.
Yeah.
There's no break.
Mm-hmm.
And then the same thing, hitters are facing great pitchers where you have your 4th and 5th starter as your long relievers if you need them, because you're essentially your bullpen.
So let's just do this.
So-
where do you think Otani's going? One team.
I have who I think he's
trade
going.
or sign. We're just talking about trade
Where's
right
he
now.
going to be traded to?
I have a
Just-
team that I want and a team that I think.
Just who do you think is actually going to be able to get?
You want the Rangers,
I don't want that because we're gonna have to give away a lot.
but the Rangers have depth in major on their major league roster right now, and then they have a lot. As long as you're not taking away Evan Carter,
Yeah, I don't.
I'd give away some of our pitching.
Yeah, we don't. I mean, we don't. It's not necessarily like we need Ohtani to make a playoff run.
No.
We don't need him.
But-
It would
but
be great to have.
You need another starting pitcher.
Yeah,
and then just
but
get
I
a
like
batter.
our setup for the next 4 to 5 years. We just drafted Wyatt Langford, who, from what I've seen, has an amazing upside.
He could come in midway through next year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. We saw what he did in the College World Series for people who watched it. I mean, he had a 450-foot home run in the biggest stage of college. I mean, you don't see guys doing that. He had an amazing tournament there in the biggest stage of college baseball, played in the SEC, proved that he could do it against top guys.
Yeah. And he's another outfield for you,
Yeah.
center or left field guy.
I mean, he can play it all. I'm pretty sure he has a pretty decent arm. I'd imagine he played right field in the SEC. And then you have guys, which one was it? Was it Rocker who just had Tommy John surgery? So he probably won't be back what I was predicting next year. That's what I was thinking.
He was having shoulder issues anyways, which is a little concerning.
So I think
but
his timeline gets pushed back a couple years.
But you're not desperate for it.
No,
so I think
we don't
that's
need it
part
right
of why
now.
he had surgery when he did.
Giving him time to rest.
Yeah,
and
if they
recover for
needed him sooner, they probably would have said, "Let's try something else."
Yeah.
But I think they went ahead and just said, "Just do it. Just get it."
Leiter, I haven't heard any big news about him, but I assume he's climbing the ranks pretty well. I mean, we saw him pretty good last year. That he struggled a little
He just had a
bit.
slow start.
Yeah, but
He's been doing good the last month. And,
Has he?
And Evan Carter could possibly get on the Major League roster this year in their late season call.
Yeah.
Maybe a playoff run. At least you expect Evan Carter to be playing next year.
I like the spot that we're in for the next 4 to 5 years. We have a good spot. Seager, Simeon, Adolis are our main
Which
three.
is why you don't want to trade away everything.
It's
for,
our
Ohtani.
We have a good 3 franchise guys where we have 3 people competing for the MVP.
Yeah.
And we have a rookie of the year.
And you're talking about in 2
Josh
years.
Young.
You're talking about in 2 years you have Josh Young, Evan Carter, and Langford all on this team. Just a bolstering youth. I mean, who knows where we look like if we hadn't even mentioned DeGrom.
Yeah, if he can come back, he can stop getting
could possibly
injured.
be back late next year.
Yeah.
For a playoff run, too.
We just need him to be healthy.
So you're going to have these tiers of teams going after Ohtani that, yeah, they would love to have him, but what's it going to cost you to bring him here for the back half of the season? And do you really feel like you can re-sign him?
I like the Dodgers as a front runner there because we've seen them make crazy moves.
And they're there.
And
you're not going to get a team.
And,
you wouldn't think you would get a team that's not really contending yet, because Ohtani probably wouldn't put him over the top. And you're going to give up a horde.
Yeah, you
to
can't
get him. So you want a team that is right there in contention.
Yeah.
And Ohtani's just going to put him over the top.
Because I think we see the Dodgers every year. They always lose. They make it through the first round, they'll sweep. But that second round, they've always struggled with. They either get knocked out in the second round or they'll win the series. I think Ohtani's a guy that can put them over that hump that they've seen in the past, that they need. That extra pitching guy, that extra elite arm coming out of the pen. And we saw him in the WBC, talking about him coming in the bullpen. He came and closed against his teammate Mike Trout, one of the best hitters in baseball.
Which, in a playoff scenario, that's what you're going to see these guys. Yeah, he might be in a rotation, but he's also going to be a guy, when you get into a Game 7, everybody's available at that point.
He's
make
a
sure
guy
everyone's available in a Game 7.
Hey, we have him in the bullpen. He's not hitting. Man, we need a pinch hitter for this guy. He doesn't really hit good against this pitcher. Ohtani hits good against everybody. He's going to come in, hit a 110-mile-an-hour home run for you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think the Dodgers as well. I think
they're
in this.
They're an amazing market team, and we saw when they signed Freddie Freeman last year, they're not afraid to sign guys to big contracts, and Freddie Freeman has paid off for him. Elite defensive guy with amazing bat-to-ball skills. I mean, one of the best in the game. We saw him during the All-Star game. I mean, Randy Arozarena made a great play, and we saw him all WBC making crazy plays. Really showed I like him. He's never been one of my oh wow, that's a really cool player to watch. He is electric, and definitely one of my favorite players.
And we're talking about how I guess most of the national media is not talking about it, about the possibility of him going to the National League and just throwing the MVP race up in.
Yeah, I mean,
he would be
opens it wide. It makes it wide open in the AL. Excuse me, and then in the NL kind of screws things up.
Yeah, I think right now where he is, he's always in the AL. Nobody can compete with him. Adolis, Seager, Simeon, no matter what those guys do, they can't pitch. They're not going to go in and have a sub-2 ERA.
Yeah.
So it kind of
Ohtani
throws it off.
Doesn't even need to. He just. I mean, he had a rough start last night, but
yeah.
If you just have a decent pitching, you're around 3 ERA, which is great. You don't
have to be elite.
Nearly twice as many wins as you do losses, and then you just go out. You saw Aaron Judge last year. You hit 61 home runs. You bat great. You're the MVP. Ohtani, outside of him getting injured or something, he's gonna hit 50 home runs.
He hits great.
He'll have 50 home runs next month.
Yeah, he hits great and he pitches just as well.
Well, this won't be the last time that we're talking about Ohtani in a MVP race.
When is
we're gonna continue to talk about this. So
trade deadline
him giving this up is not
Let's look at that.
isn't the
I don't,
end of the world.
I don't know it
It's
by
definitely
heart.
in July, so it's within the next couple of weeks.
I was gonna talk about.
I think this week we're gonna start seeing a lot of moves. It's gonna get
Yeah.
really hot this next week.
So with the Dodgers, how they have their batting order set up, they have Betts, Freeman, Smith, Muncy as their 4, and then JD Martinez as their 5. I think Ohtani can.
number 4.
I
Can you
think
explain that?
yeah, I think you could fit him in really anywhere. I don't have their spots in the lineup. Obviously Betts and right, Freeman at first, Will Smith at catcher. I don't know what their DH situation looks like, but I assume that he's a better hitter than their DH. Not many people can
How does he
hit.
fit with how he bats? He's right-handed, correct?
He's left-handed.
He's left-handed. Okay, so what's that lineup look like? If you just have it, you don't have to look it up.
So against the righty lefty split, the only they move. So their 1 through 9 against right-handed righties is Betts, Freeman, Smith, Muncy, JD Martinez, David Peralta, James Outman, Chris Taylor, Miguel Rojas.
Mhm.
Against lefties, it's the same top 3. Martinez and Muncy get switched from the 4 and 5 get flipped. Chris Taylor moves up to 6. Rojas to 7. Jake Marinsky gets moved into their 8, so I think that's their DH spot.
Yeah.
Is Marinsky and James Outman, and then David Peralta hits 9.
I mean, not that the Dodgers are going to make any decisions based off that,
No,
but it might.
I don't know.
bolster
Yeah,
that
and I
side,
don't know what
that side of the
his
plate for
I
them.
don't know what his split is against right left. That's advanced metrics. I don't have that. But I assume it's not too bad because you don't really see people making decisions on that. I assume that he hits both very well.
Yeah. And then during the All-Star game, obviously it was in Seattle. You had the Seattle fans chanting "Come to Seattle" for when Ohtani
Yeah.
came up to bat.
Yeah.
August 1st is the trade deadline, so we
Really?
will see.
Okay. Yeah, so we got a couple more weeks for
Yeah.
that. A lot building up, and I assume Ohtani will be right there at the
Yeah.
end if he's going to be traded. There's no reason
I've heard-
to do it any earlier.
No,
the Angels are going to.
They're
make
gonna
sure they
hold
get him
out.
rested.
Yeah, I've heard Dodgers. I've heard Yankees.
I just heard the reason I mentioned the Rangers. I just heard that they were interested, but then again, who's not
interested?
That's like when Tom Brady was on the market in free agency. Everybody said let's talk to him and see.
Yeah, I think the only thing that's going to hurt the Yankees in this situation is we just don't know if they're even going to make the playoffs.
They're in last place right now.
Yeah.
I mean that again. That's
It doesn't
that's
matter. We're still
there's difference in
halfway.
last place in the
And it's a
AL
thing
East
of
and
that
last
they can
place in the-
trade him,
if
but he
they're
doesn't have to
not-
sign.
Yeah. Yeah, if you trade for him and you end up not making the playoffs,
He's not going to
then what
resign.
did you trade it for? Yeah, and
That's
you don't
why.
know if
That's
he
why I
resigns,
think it's going
so-
to be a team who's right there.
Yeah.
It's just going to put it because you're going to go all in. Because if you do it, you clear out your farm system. You win a World Series. He doesn't re-sign with you, and you're a bad team for 5 years. That's worth it, right? You won a World
Yeah.
Series out of it. That's why if you're going to clear the farm for him, you have to make sure that it's putting you
That's why I think.
as a favorite to win the World Series.
That's why I think the Dodgers are a good.
And I think it would
good
put the
team,
Dodgers as
because-
because that was a team you knew was going to be good.
Yeah.
The Rangers, they didn't really come out of nowhere. You thought, okay, all these players, no player really surprised you where you thought,
No.
okay, he's better than I thought he was. Now, I knew Adolis Garcia was all-star capable, but it
didn't-
was like every player's working out at the top
Yeah.
where you thought he could. No one just came out and like, oh, I didn't know he was that good.
No.
We all thought this was possible, but you're thinking, well, no team really goes and wins 20 more games than they did
Yeah.
previous year. That's why we were trying to be
Well,
conservative.
people are.
But like the Diamondbacks, that kind of came out of
That came out of nowhere. For me, it's not not that the Rangers are good. It's how good they are.
how they're winning.
People predicted that we were gonna be 500 at the All-Star break, and how many games over are we? Double
Like
digits?
eight to 10. I can't remember. We can look that up, but
It's
and that's on the slide. They're three.
Yeah.
Before last night, they were 3-7 in their last 10.
yeah,
Still in
it's
first place.
it's
They have,
not-
like 52 wins,
it's not that we're
53 maybe. They just won
yeah.
last night.
And comparing to last year where we were below expectations, we were a really good team on paper for how they did. Now we're exceeding expectations.
Yeah.
It's good to see.
I mean, even last year, I think they won 11, I want to say 11 to 12 more games than they did the previous year, which is good. That's
Yeah.
the right direction. And they were kind of predicting the same thing. And I even said, I was trying to be conservative. 82 and 80 is what I picked. And I thought they'd be competing for a wild card spot. And if they finish 82 and 80 now, that is a huge disappointment. They could go 500 for the rest of the season, and they'd have a better record than that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're one of the highest teams for a playoff besides, the Braves. I mean, I think their projected possibility for making the playoffs is 94%.
Is there a way that they
when you
don't?
say that,
But there's almost no way that they cannot make the playoffs.
When the
at this
Mavericks
point.
traded for Kyrie, they were 99% chance to make it. And I get the last 3 games they tanked,
But here's the thing: is
but
the
still,
Rangers? Yeah, they're on a 17 and 19 run right now.
Yeah.
Their last 30 games. Whatever.
Yeah, they're showing more where we thought they would probably.
Is
be.
there a logical way that they don't make the playoffs? I know there's a physical way. If they completely lose out, they don't win another game after the All-Star break, but that's not logical.
They're on a slight downward slide.
The AL East?
And
You look at how stacked that. Because
yeah.
Finish your thought.
The Braves are hot right now. I mean, they're only 2 games behind the Rangers.
The Braves are always hot, though.
You still have the Mariners.
Even when they're not hot, they're still pretty hot.
Yeah.
Astros.
Oh, the Astros.
The Astros are hot.
Yeah.
They're 2 games behind. Seattle's only 7 games behind. I mean, there's a lot that could change here.
And last year we saw
flip.
Seattle.
I mean, and even the Angels are only 8 out.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, Houston won
Last year,
too.
Seattle was in an amazing spot like that, too. They played the star-studded Astros in the first round, and we didn't really get to see... Or, I'm sorry, it wasn't the first round, I don't think. It was one of the earlier rounds of the playoffs, and we didn't really get to see how good those young guys could be. Like Julio Rodriguez, I like that we're getting to see him in playoff stuff this young in his career.
Yeah.
And, I mean, we saw him in the All-Star game. He came up with a chance to tie or win the game, and in Seattle, and it was cool to see the fans really get behind that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm not well versed on the new playoff format, but I know the way the American League looks is it's really beneficial. Obviously, it's beneficial when you're division, but it works out very well because if the Rangers win their division, they're getting an automatic bye.
I think
they're going to the divisional round because the AL Central is so bad.
Yeah. I think
but
it's
the AL West
closer.
is so deep, or the AL East is so deep, where it's going to be tough to get a wild card spot. So right now, are the Astros even a wild card team? They're probably
a
are.
wild card team.
Yeah.
They're better than Toronto right now. But the Red Sox are red hot right now.
The Red
too.
Sox,
So
the Reds.
You're going to struggle to get in the American League. You're going to struggle to get
Yeah.
a wild card playoff team in. But
And you're going to have a team like at 500, the Twins are leading the.
that's what I'm thinking.
Who the
Whoever
Rangers
wins the
played last
AL
night.
West is going to be the second best record in the American, or the second best of the division winners. So you're going to get that. The top 2 get the bye week into the divisional round, and they don't have to play the wild card weekend.
After the All-Star break,
division.
yeah,
At this
pretty
point.
much. After the All-Star break is where everything gets
Easier said
interesting.
than done.
Everything gets interesting after the All-Star break. We've seen it. After the All-Star break, it has been everybody's hitting homers. We see Tatis let it off with the first home run after All-Star break in the 3rd inning of their game. He hit one to the second deck. 4 of the 5 Ranger All-Stars hit home runs last night. The Naylor twins hit 2 against the Rangers, both
Barrera
2-run
Jr.,
shots.
First at bat since home run
Hit-
derby. Hit a home run.
hit a home run.
First home run derby champion to do
Yeah.
that.
Vladdy.
Because typically they've been said like a lot of the Judge isn't in the home run derby.
Yeah, well, he was hurt.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying
he
like
wasn't
every
gonna be
year
in it.
it's not quite to the level of NBA dunk contest, but you're
Yeah.
not getting the cream of the crop, the top 5 hitters. Otani's not in there.
Yeah.
But it's said that it kind of messes up your swing because you're swinging completely different at home runs.
Yeah.
But Guerrero goes in.
Not
Guerrero
when
Jr.
you're a
goes in
guy
there and
like
doesn't.
Vladimir Guerrero
Yeah.
Jr., where you're a power hitter. Home
It
runs
seems
are
like
where
it
you get
fixed his
paid.
swing because he's been struggling.
Yeah,
this
he
year.
has been struggling. He
His
came back
numbers
and hit a
are
home
down
run.
this year from last year, and that's actually part of the Blue Jays' struggle now that they're third there in the AL East because of their offense hasn't produced this year.
Is him winning the home run derby a confidence booster, though? Is it one of the things where, like, he wasn't hitting the ball? He goes, well, it's not like I don't hit for power. Hitting the home run derby would be a cool thing to do. He goes, wins it, and he's like, oh, wow. Like boosted his
We
confidence
know
up.
how
Now
much
he's a
of
better
mental
hitter.
game baseball is. Sometimes it takes things like that.
I
for
mean,
these
if you're
young
telling
players.
me, if I have a star that's red hot going into the All-Star break to do the home run derby, or one that's struggling to do the home run derby, I would like my chances with one that's struggling going the home run derby rather than the home run derby throwing off whatever.
Yeah,
guy
because
that's
I
got it
mean,
figured out, yeah.
if you have a guy like obviously Adolis, the home run derby wasn't a big thing for him. Mookie Betts, they kind of just did it for fun. But a guy like Randy Rosarena, who also probably did it for fun, went in and he made it to the finals against Vladimir Guerrero Jr. I mean, that's a huge confidence booster for guys like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely mental. You
Versus a
can't
guy
you
like-
can't say that it didn't get to you because look at
Yeah.
someone like
Pete
Joey
Alonso.
Gallo. Look at Joey Gallo.
Yeah.
I mean, he strikes out a lot and hits a lot of home runs, and he goes from the Rangers to New York, and that ridiculous pressure on you in New York, and he just can't hit home runs. He goes on a crazy streak where he doesn't even get a hit. He just keeps striking out, and he just can't. He just doesn't make it in New York. It seemed like it
And then
mentally broke
he
him.
went to the Twins.
He goes to the Twins and gets a little bit of bump up. I mean, he's
Yeah.
obviously not what he once was.
No.
But it's definitely, I mean, you could say, well, confidence shouldn't matter, mental shouldn't matter, you should just go in and play the game. But everybody's human, and baseball, more than anything, might be one of the
Yeah.
Yeah.
most rigorous sports because sometimes you're just not doing well. And you don't know why. You just have the yips, or you're just, hey, we're not hitting right now, and you have to literally hit your way out of,
Yeah.
out of a struggle. Also, I have them on here, Angels 0-5 since placing Trout on the
Yeah.
IL.
Trout isn't what he once was, I don't think, and I think we're seeing that from the stats this year. He's dealt with
So
a lot of.
is he an all-star because it's Mike Trout? Or does his stats really support him to be an all-star? Because his stats could still be all-star like because he was a starter.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it may be, if you look at those stats, you're like, if Adolis Garcia has those stats, you're like, oh man, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Mike Trout has them, you're like,
Yeah.
eh.
I think unfortunately we're starting to see the back half of
His
Trout.
career.
I
I
think
mean,
I
he's
think it's
been in
gonna
the
be this
league for
downward
10 plus
slide.
years.
he
Which is ridiculous.
injuries
Yeah.
injuries could catch up to him now because of the style of play. He's a big, strong, fast. You know, he's a 5-tool guy that just goes all out. You know, you see him making diving layout plays.
I think in the
he's
beginning of his
his
career,
body's going to start to break down on him when
Yeah.
you play at a high level like that.
He
And you're
kinda-
so aggressive. With
some could say he played kind of reckless for how big he was. He was really just throwing his body around, and I think when he was younger he could do that, but now he can't do that as much.
Yeah, I think unfortunately, I think we might start to see. We've seen the best of Mike Trout.
Yeah,
To this
I
point.
mean he's on.
It's
Is he on IL right now or
Yeah,
injury
yeah,
reserve?
he's on IL.
Broken wrist.
He's gonna miss, thinking 4 to 6 weeks, if
Yeah.
not more. But yeah, it's a shame that he's kind of been the team he's on, being the second fiddle in Los Angeles. They haven't been well. It's on the West Coast, so you know how time zones work. That usually in all of sports, you don't, unless they're nationally televised games, you don't really notice much
Yeah.
about what have you seen with USC, Oregon, and college football.
Yeah.
Up to basketball, you don't, outside of the Lakers, you don't get a lot of love necessarily unless you're on nationally televised games earlier on. Because the East Coast just doesn't see that much.
Yeah.
They're not going to stay up till midnight. Even here, we're in the Central time zone, and the Rangers play those West Coast teams all
At
the
10
time.
o'clock
In
starts.
games, yeah, it's like 9:30, 10 o'clock starts, and they go past midnight sometimes.
It's just hard to.
It's
hard
hard,
to watch.
yeah. So you're struggling. You're the second team in a metropolitan area, not making the playoffs, and you're on the West Coast. I think he will be appreciated more years after he retires, which most players are. But I think it's a shame that baseball couldn't, like, they can't physically put him on another team or make a team better, but they could have done a better job of marketing. Where
Yeah.
if I kind of use the gauge as household names is talking to my wife, because she's not that into sports. She'll watch sports or whatever, but if she knows who they are, they're a household name.
Yeah.
I don't know if she knows who Mike Trout is, which is a shame
Which is-
because he's not. I mean, he's not going to be the greatest player of all time. He's going to go in the Hall of Fame. I still think, regardless, if he doesn't have a great career, he deals with injuries, he doesn't come back to what he once was. I still think he's a first ballot Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
I do
For
too.
what he's done, but he doesn't.
mean,
my wife
it's-
knows who Shohei
what-
Ohtani is.
Yeah.
Probably
What-
because I talk about him a lot. But
What
Mike
you
Trout,
have to compare this to is it's just the Angels organization in general. I mean, we dog the Angels. I mean, I'm sorry, the A's for what they don't do there. Did the Angels set up the same thing? Because now you have Trout and Ohtani, and you still can't find a way to win at a high level consistently. Have the Angels done a disservice to Mike Trout by not helping to build a team around him?
I haven't looked into a lot of their moves, what they try to do. I don't really cover the Angels that much. They've definitely not succeeded at that, but I don't know if it's necessarily for lack of trying.
I think
or not.
it's. I mean,
They went out and got Ohtani.
Yeah.
How they get international players in, you have to bid just for the rights to negotiate with them. So they definitely worked hard to get Ohtani in.
I think it's one of the things of how their market works. You're in the same metropolitan area as the Dodgers. It would be the same as if you brought in a team to DFW. They're having to compete with the Rangers. It's two teams in a metropolitan area. It's always the more popular team. When you're talking about household names, you think you can ask anybody about a Yankees player, or just ask anybody to name a Yankees player. Derek Jeter, Aaron Judge. That's
You
two.
can go back Babe Ruth.
Babe Ruth. Not many people know Lou Gehrig.
But every generation has
as a household
Yankees
name.
Player has a household name for just about every
I
generation.
mean, even Alex
Like you said,
Rodriguez,
the Yankees are marketed well, and they make sure of that.
along with the Dodgers, who are
Dodgers.
marketed really well too. When you ask people to name Dodgers players, what's the first one that comes to your mind?
Well, just currently, I think Clayton Kershaw.
Clayton Kershaw.
Big one.
Yeah, for
You
sure.
also have guys like Mookie Betts, who are always doing other stuff.
I weirdly think of Eric Gagne. I don't know why.
Yeah.
That like in his time, he was one of the best closers. I remember he had the longest save streak at the time, and I don't know why that just popped into my head. Eric Gagne. But yeah, but is it MLB marketing them, or is it the teams marketing themselves?
I think it's team marketing, and I also think it's.
But it's easy to market those teams.
Yeah,
I mean,
Well, when
area
you're in
marketing.
the playoffs and you win, that's the thing is when you're in the playoffs, those household names, it becomes easier to create a household name because people intend to watch other teams in the playoffs. Those games are all televised. People that don't watch, like you said, your wife, she would see a game during the playoff, a Dodgers game or a Yankees game during the playoffs more so than she would a regular season game. So you don't, like you said earlier, the Angels aren't on a lot of nationally televised games because they haven't given anyone a reason to.
And you think of social media presence, the Dodgers and the Yankees, they always have players doing other stuff,
part of that
marketing themselves.
Historically, those teams have done a better job. I mean, they're some of the oldest teams, and they've done a better job of
Marketing stuff like that. Even the Cincinnati Reds, who, historically, in my lifetime, haven't been a very good team. I know you were a big Reds fan growing up because they were pretty good. Now, they're this crazy hot young team, and now everybody knows everybody knows them.
Yeah.
So I think it's also one of those things where
I think the Reds have done a really good job to bring them up this year. Yeah. They've done a really good job to market with the City Connects. That's been huge. You see it all over social media.
Yeah, and De La
Cruz. I mean, you're right. They are one of the young hot teams. They're a team that I think we're going to see for a lot of years being a competitor.
Yeah.
And we're running out of time, so a couple more topics we might push off till next week's show. Unless, did you want to talk about the ESPYs real quick before we jumped into other things? Because that's a little more
let's talk about
time. Real quick, LeBron James at the ESPYs. He gave a speech and it almost sounded like he was about to announce his retirement. I think it drew everybody in, and then it kind of cheapened it with that. He said it sounded like a heartfelt moment. He said, can I still play the game without cheating it? And he said, the day I can't do that, I won't play the game anymore. And you're like, okay, what's he about to do? And then in typical LeBron, I think he just has little self-awareness. I don't think it's really him being intentionally arrogant, but he said, lucky for you guys, that's not today.
Yeah.
And everyone cheers, but I mean, I thought it was not even cheesy. I think kind of cringy.
Yeah.
He said it, when he said it, he's really charismatic and he knows how to talk to cameras. It didn't sound as cringy as when you read it. But man, you go from, man, is he about to announce his retirement, to like, it's like, what was that? Just like, hey, LeBron, can you give some sort of speech just to fill in time? And he comes up with that. I thought that was kind of funny. He's been getting dogged on by the national media for a little while for that.
Now, y'all might not like this, but I think when you're the best player in basketball, you can do that.
You absolutely can.
Yeah.
When, I don't think anybody said, was it on ESPN? The ESPYs, are they on ESPN?
Yeah.
I don't think that ESPN said, hey, here's your script, do this. I think you're right. He can do whatever he wants. They said, hey, just go. You get however long that speech was, a few minutes. Just go. And we're just kind of making fun of him a little bit. It's not a travesty that he did this.
Yeah.
Now, if another funny, I think he kind of thought in his mind that he was trying to be funny.
I think so too.
But man,
because that is part of the ESPYs that you see. There is it's lighthearted, award show, and those are the things they're looking for, and I think that was him just trying to be funny.
I think it was also one of the things is he got the award for best record breaking thing.
I don't know.
I know he got the award for.
Probably should be my job, but
I know he got the award for breaking the scoring record, but I don't remember what the actual award was called.
And then also Damar Hamlin hands out an award to the paramedics that saved his life on the field.
Yeah,
that was pretty cool. And then we can get that clip ready to play. Before you play it, just click on it, and then wait. What was this? Explain it, because you have to listen to it. It works better when you watch it on TikTok because it gives you all the words. But explain kind of what this.
Lil Wayne's kind of did a remix of his song for today's.
So the original song that he had is a freestyle, and then he freestyled over his already made freestyle, which I think is. I think
he did an awesome job.
Yeah,
with it. He really did.
And the crowd was.
I'm gonna mute.
The crowd was really
into
it.
Go ahead.
A millionaire, I'm a young money millionaire, tougher than Nigerian. Here my criteria compared to your Caribbeans isn't fair. And I'm over New Orleans like an angel. Reese in my pencil, elite on the sheet, but the tablet in my mind got it good. Damar Hamlin doing fine. In the second minute, I would go to the almighty dollar in the almighty power of the chopper, sister, brother, son, daughter, mother, younger, call me Papa, but my uncle Prime got me out there. We're in Colorado, tell them they can't catch them, they can't stop us. I go by them gurus. If you can't beat them, then you pop them. Can't man them, then you mop them. Can't stand them, then you drop them. You pop them cause we pop them like we coach you in Banyana. Stop that playing. Hands up, shout it.
I think there's a lot of sports wordplay in there.
Yeah. And he did a good job of all of the recent things with Prime, and Wembanyama, and Damar Hamlin. I mean, that's.
And I believe they were all. I know Damar Hamlin was there. He gave out the award. I believe Wembanyama was probably there for something like that. I would assume that the biggest young star in basketball would be there.
Wayne did a great job of.
Did you share that on? Oh wait, you probably didn't. We'll put that on our Peak One Sports TikTok as well, and probably Instagram.
Yeah, we'll post it on social media.
I mean, Travis Kelce was in the front row, and they got really into it, which I think it was pretty cool.
But that's fun to see, and obviously, I mean, we're in the dog days of summer, so we're bringing up all kinds of stuff, anything we can in sports. But that was a really good one. That was fun to see Wayne. He performs at a lot of these. He's a huge sports fan, huge Packers fan. He even made mention of that in this freestyle.
And I mean, not only is he a huge Packers fan, the things that he does with New Orleans and all the Louisiana teams. I mean, we see him with LSU. He was there with when the women's won the NCAA championship. He was there for baseball, which I wouldn't think he was a big baseball fan, but he was there. Obviously, we saw him when LSU, Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, they won the Natty. He was there, so he's really invested in really all sports.
Check out our Instagram, Facebook. We'll have that up shortly.
You see it down there at Peak One Sports is how you get a hold of all that. Oh man, we just have so much to talk about, but we have to make sure we mention some of our sponsors, like Betalytics. The Betalytics dashboards allow you to quickly identify the top graded best bets and hottest trends. Betalytics uses AI machines to learn algorithms and create accurate game simulations, player prop projections, betting line evaluations, and best bet recommendations. Use promo code PEAK1 for 25% off when you sign up today. Go to betalytics.com to start betting smarter.
This week we on the thread, it's a little bit different. Landon's gonna run with this one. He pulled together some stuff, bringing in the last this will be the last of the All-Star weekend, stuff we have. But this week, our thread obviously brought to you by Apogee Grafix. Bring your vision to new heights with Apogee Grafix. Visit apogeegrafix.com to get your next design project started now. Take it away, Landon.
Yeah, so this week with the thread, kind of went off what y'all did with the jerseys. It's tough to see with the All-Star game so close to whenever I was looking. I couldn't find in-game pictures of guys with these cleats. I know they all had playing time. So starting from the top, I believe that's the top left, we have Alexis Diaz, and you can kind of see, it's kind of hard to see, but with the paint he has his brother Edwin Diaz, him and Edwin on there. I can't really read what the wording says on there. It's a lot of Spanish, but I do like he's a Cincinnati Red, so you can see all the colors that he did on there. The pinstriping on the heel and the pull tabs and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's cool. I like that a lot. It looks like their pinstripe jerseys.
And then the middle is top middle is Jose Ramirez.
I like those.
I mean,
what's the color scheme for? What's it trying to? To me, it kind of looks like Los Angeles Chargers. I know that's not it. But...
Well, then you have the inside part of the other shoe is.
Yeah, if you see, I think he kind of just went for a colorful look, not to be super. I mean, I don't see him as a super flashy guy.
Does MLB let them wear whatever cleats
they can?
Want?
Yeah, so the All-Star game.
Regular season or just All-Star?
I'm not.
I know the
100%
NBA
sure.
and NFL give them games. To,
I think they're a little more free about it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not like the NFL.
I know. In-season guys just off the top of my head, Jazz Chisholm. He's super flashy guy, kind of like the King Griffey Jr. of my era.
Yeah.
He's a guy who's always wearing pretty flashy cleats.
You feel old. King Griffey Jr.
is always wearing. Yeah, Tatis is always wearing Travis Scott's.
Yeah, he's always wearing stuff like that. So if we move over to the top far right and the bottom far left, these are probably competing for the top, my favorite cleats of the season.
Yeah.
Julio Rodriguez. You see the J-Rod show on the back, the
these
44.
Are the same cleat, right? This is the same. This is different
top
images of it.
Yeah,
okay.
top right and top and bottom left are
That's
it's
just
the same
back
cleat.
Of that same cleat.
Yeah. You see again the colors that he had on it. Obviously the Seattle colors too. So I'm thinking that the colors here are Northern Lights, because you can't see Northern Lights. I believe it's this week. You can see the Northern Lights in Seattle. So we see a lot of, obviously being from Seattle, he has his Seattle stuff. J-Rod show on the back is his, I believe that's his YouTube channel too, that he does a bunch of stuff. I think it says Limitless across the bottom. I mean, he's a young player. It fits him pretty well.
Those are I like those, man. Like we talked
That's
about before the
favorite.
show. Adidas has done a really good job with these, and then with the guys that are customizing and the shoe guy, what's his
Lucille, I'm pretty sure it's how you pronounce it.
He's done some of these, correct?
Yes.
And he's the one that's done your cleats as well.
Yeah, he has done some of mine.
Couple cleats of yours.
So the Julio Rodriguez cleats and the Jose Ramirez cleats are him. The rest are Stadium Kicks.
So one of the next ones we have the bottom center.
Josh Gray is bottom center. You can kind of see through, obviously on the shoe that's on its side, you can see the Seattle across it with the teal. Cool. I don't know if y'all can see it from the angle of the monitor, but he has the mountains on the other side
behind the Adidas logos.
Yeah,
that's cool.
And then these aren't too flashy compared to the other ones. They're kind of simple, but they look really nice. I like the colors that he had. I think my favorite cleats of the All-Star game, the Supersonics, Devin Williams.
Yeah, those are my favorite ones.
Yeah,
I like that a lot. Yeah,
he, cool. I mean, I do believe he pitched too. So he used these in games. I couldn't find any in game stuff, but Stadium Kicks did a good job with these. They had the Skyline and the Supersonics logo in there.
And of these selections, that's the only Nike cleat
Yeah.
in the pick.
I know Adidas has been really popular with their cleats.
Yeah, especially in the customizing game.
I mean, it's easy to do. A lot of stuff you can do with these. We didn't really get to see guys like who we talked about, flashy cleat guys like Jazz Chisholm and Tatis, who I would have loved to see. I assume Jazz Chisholm, being a Jordan guy, would have brought out some crazy Jordans.
Yeah. Yeah, I like these a lot.
Yeah.
Thank you, Landon, for
Bravo,
this week's
well done.
these thread. Great job in his
Good job,
his
yeah.
first time on that,
I'm just
right?
gonna pass that off to you from now on. Since we got a couple of minutes, we can just talk about this real quick. The Supersonics cleats I liked, and they're talking about expansion. And obviously, I think Seattle is going to be on the first docket to get a team back. Probably would be the Supersonics and Las Vegas as well. Which seems like I think LeBron might go to Las Vegas and play. He'll probably be part of the ownership group at some point.
Yeah.
The Las Vegas team, which is kind of weird that it's going to throw off the balance in the East and West. So a team's going to have to move to the Eastern Conference, which will probably be like Minnesota or Memphis. It'd be really weird because those traditional Western Conference, I know like Minnesota hockey, they're in the Western Conference as well. But they're about to, because every league is right now is on the verge of expansion. Everybody's talking about baseball. Talking about it. They mentioned in baseball, the teams, I guess they would have to do 2 at a time, which would bring you to 32. And I guess your divisions, you would add an extra division in each league, and you'd be at 4 teams. We talked about Montreal, Salt Lake City, Charlotte, Nashville. I think there was one more.
I think Nashville's a good
Nashville.
pick.
I think
Or
Montreal.
Well, you're picking 2,
Montreal's not a
and
bad
I
one
think
either.
it's the same thing with the Sonics. You're bringing a classic team back.
I think
Montreal was there for 30 years.
Yeah,
A long
I
time.
think I like the Montreal because we see it during the All-Star game is you always have Blue Jay guys in contention for it because you have this entire country. I know Canada's not a huge baseball country, but all the people who follow baseball, you don't have to follow baseball to vote in the All-Star game.
Yeah.
If you, I mean, you just...
Yeah, because
I
you
think
normally
it's
when
good.
you see the fan vote, teams kind of pair up
Yeah.
and say, "Hey, we'll vote for your our fans will vote for your players if you vote for ours." And I think that would be a good one. Given, I assume if Montreal comes back, they'll be in the National League.
Yeah.
That'd be good because they'd kind of be rivals, but in alternating leagues when it doesn't affect each other, you have the whole country of Canada voting both.
Yeah. And it gives it gives the MLB good marketing. I mean, what's better than you have 2 teams from the same country, different leagues. They face each other for a series a year, and it's a huge national rivalry.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they would still be a series. Yeah, because I like how MLB, just a side note, changed their scheduling where everything's pretty much even now. You're facing every team every single year.
Yeah.
Which would be pretty
I like
cool.
that too because
Side
we get
note,
to
I
see
thought
more
about
people.
it. Is it weird that Toronto is in the American League?
A little bit.
Because they're a Canadian team. Just a weird thought. Just trying to kill time till we finish this up. We want to give you all the full hour.
Talking about the...
but yeah, I think Nashville and Montreal will probably be the top 2 picks. Salt Lake City, because they don't have a team, might be in there.
Yeah.
Charlotte's weird because I think everybody in Charlotte already has a team. They're either a Braves fan or probably
think a lot of
Nationals
that-
fans.
Yeah,
I
they're
think it's
close
the
to
same
so
thing
many
The
teams.
same thing in Nashville, though. A lot of folks in Tennessee are Braves fans.
Or maybe Cardinals fans.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're kind of right there in the
But
middle.
we saw... I don't think they're still there. The Nashville Sound. Are
Yeah, I
they
don't
are
think
they
they
still
are.
a team?
Are
Yeah,
they?
they used to be I think they
were an
still
affiliate
are a
for the
team.
Rangers.
Yeah,
I don't know
for a
if they
couple of
ever
years
know.
they were the Triple League, the Triple A.
Affiliate.
Because I know we
Affiliate.
drive past their stadium when we go up there, and it's getting torn down now.
Yeah, their main stadium, because they built it with the idea that it could expand to be a major league stadium because they have the guitar, and we posted it on Peak One Facebook one time. that it was going to be the centerpiece. Like, hey, this is going to be a major league stadium.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're still around, but yeah, I know they don't play in their stadium anymore. They've played at a different stadium because that stadium is just so much in decay, and they were just Rangers affiliate a couple of years ago.
I think if they came in to be the expansion team, I think you just run with the Nashville Sound.
Yeah, I like that.
Because
makes
it's
a lot
a
of sense.
yeah, and it's a known name already. You don't have to grow the brand up, and you can go and rebuild that stadium because you'll have the expansion team money to go
Just
to
the
go and do
same
it.
reasons if they put Seattle for basketball or Montreal, the teams that moved out of there completely rebranded.
Yeah,
So you're probably
was-
going to have
who
the
was in
Montreal
Expos?
Expos
I would hope
and
so.
then the Seattle Super. You have to have the
Yeah,
Seattle Supersonics. There's no way you
Supersonics.
put a Seattle team and not call them the Supersonics.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of the Leadoff. You heard here every Saturday on the Peak One Sports Network. You don't have to mess with that, Landon.
All right.
It should be fine after. Be sure to follow us on all our social media pages. Like us on YouTube. Subscribe. Thanks for everyone getting us to the 100 subscriber challenge. Now I think Cole said we're going for 2,000.
2,000.
I don't know that.
That's a big jump.
Yeah, that's not the next obvious one, but as Cole said, he likes to think big. You know, if you want to go for less,
Hey.
you lower your standards. No, we don't want to lower
big
our
or go
standards
home.
here. Yeah. So help us to get that 2,000 challenge. We'll have a big giveaway if we can get to 2,000 here pretty quickly.
Yeah.
But until next week, I'm Ashton.
I'm Tony.
I'm Landon.
We'll see you next time.